Hello, my name is Maria Saltzman, and I am a woman. Ever since I was a little girl, my parents told me to reach for the stars, and that if I put my mind to it, I can do anything. However, not every girl is told this. Back then, women were not allowed to get a job because it was unladylike, and their only purpose was to stay home, cook, clean, take care of their husbands, take care of their children, and that all political matters were only a topic for the men. Then, in the mid-19th century, women finally said enough was enough, which sparked the women's suffrage movement. Women decided to protest and riot against the stereotype because they were not allowed to have basic rights to vote, which was a huge problem. And then it wasn't until 1920 where the 19th Amendment was put into place by the government. The 19th Amendment gives anyone of any gender the right to vote and should not be denied that right at all, just because of their gender. Even though as the law has changed with women's rights, there's still more to be done. For example, the pink tax, which was created back in 1994. The pink tax is an extra tax on feminine hygiene products, women's deodorants, razors, and many other products. Why should women be paying more for these products? Because men pay less for those products, and they're basically the same thing and do the same purpose. But women have to pay extra more on just simple products that are both offered to both genders. According to Carolyn B. Maloney, who is a ranking Democrat in the Joint Economic Committee, the average price paid by women was 54% higher than the average price paid by men, which is just crazy to think about because that's over 0.5% higher than the average price that women have to pay for. Even though it may not seem a lot, it's only 54%, to a lot of women and a lot of families, that 54% is a huge amount. However, the pink tax is not just the only problem. In some places of the world, women don't even have the basic rights to leave their house, to get a basic education, to read or write, or even to vote and have that voice of power to change the world. For example, girls in Afghanistan can't even go to school just to get a basic education, just in the fear of being killed or threatened by the Taliban. That basic education could help so many young girls in that area and all around the world. Just that taking that basic right away from them is just detrimental to their lives, because once the Taliban is dispersed, what are they supposed to do? They're in their minds, they think they just need to find a husband and that they just need to be quiet and self-centered and that they should just rely on a man to benefit their lives instead of taking that initiative, stepping forward and doing it themselves. Just because that Taliban group believes that in that stereotype that women are only useful and should only be the caretakers of their home. But don't get me wrong, the world has made a lot of strides in women's rights. But again, there's just still more to be changed. One of these effects that just drastically changed in a year was abortion. The right of abortion in many states is now taken away from women, and that should not happen, because that's a basic right of young women, in the decision of what they should do with their body, and not be told of oh, you just can't do this because we said so, and that's what we believe. It's just basic rights should be available to all women, and that no matter their gender, women should be treated the same as men, as same as anybody else. But the only way to change this is by changing the way people think. Because a lot of people think that women, again, should just be the caretakers of the home and believe in that ridiculous stereotype. Just by speaking up, making things equal between both genders will help with many women's lives all over the world. And it just takes many, not just one voice, but many voices to change this. That's why if you ever hear women fighting against their rights and you just question yourself, why are they doing this? It's just because they are just tired of being told the same thing over and over again and they cannot do it. Luckily for me, I'm told that I was always told to reach for the stars and just to go and do it. Even if you may fail, just do it, just try. But just to think that not every girl has the same right as me is just crazy to think about. But again, just to speak up and just to make that change will change so many lives of young girls all over the world. Thank you.